Hi there, I'm Ethan of Read Spell Thrive, and welcome back to my tutorial on setting up LibreOffice for use with my letter tile templates. My templates allow you to manipulate letter and Orton Gillingham inspired tiles on screen for use in online tutoring. A link to purchase my templates are in the description below. Hi, in this video I'm going to explore my templates, some of the features, and how to navigate LibreOffice. I haven't yet fully decided on the structure of files I'm going to include, but it's going to be very similar to what I have on screen. The first one I want to show you is the master templates. Under master templates, you'll find a bunch of files that you can use and copy to create your own layouts for letter tiles. So this is some basic layouts available to you if you wanted to go on and create your own layouts of tiles. Say you were going to pre-build lesson plans, you could go ahead and use these as the basis for building your own templates. Under there you'll have your toolbar. So inside toolbar is the optional toolbar file included, and I have a previous video on how to install that. Going back, you'll have your working copies folder. Under the working copies folder, you'll have your template files that I've already set up for use with students. Before we explore those files, I just want to go back and explain I've also got a backup copies. So this is here to remind you that if you save your files, you will save those changes. So sometimes things can go wrong in your working copies, and you delete something accidentally you don't mean to, and you save it. So I recommend having a backup copy of any file you create, template file you create for use with your students. So I've included that there to remind you that you should back up your files. If we go under working copies again, we can see that there's 3 templates here. Alphabet, so I've got one for working with just alphabet, teaching children about the alphabet. Got phonics tiles, so this is going to be the main one with all your letters and vowel teams and etc. And then I've got one with just plain tiles for phonological work and phonemic awareness work. So let's go ahead and explore some of the features of each of these files. First, let's have a look at the phonics tiles. I've got these pre-opened down the bottom, so I'm going to open up my copy of the phonics tiles template to have a look at. So the first thing I think we should look at is the page pane over here on the left. So you can get the page pane up if you installed my toolbar by clicking on the page pane button. So you can hide that or show it by clicking on it. If you didn't install my toolbar, you can still access it by going up to View, Page Pane, and clicking on that one to turn it either off or on again. Just make sure it's ticked in order to turn it on. So the page pane allows you to see all the different pages inside the template file. So you can have multiple pages set up for different things. So I've set this one up just as a basic template for you to go off of, with one set up for reading and another one set up for spelling. So you can go to your reading one by clicking on it, or go to your spelling ones by clicking on them as well. So you can navigate between the pages just by clicking on them here over in the page pane, or I've also found the page up, page down buttons on your keyboard will also navigate between the different slides, or different pages, sorry. So the other thing to note about this is if you want to create new pages, you can right click, copy, and paste where you'd like your new one to go, say down the bottom here, and then I've created a new another letter tile page. And I put these blank ones in just as dividers to help you split up different sections of your document. So if you're pre-building words for reading, or half pre-building words for spelling, so that students have to choose between different spelling rules, you can divide up the sections of your document depending on your lesson plan. So yeah, we can see that you can create, copy, and paste new pages and divide up sections in your pages pane. So now let's go ahead and have a look at how to build words. So if we go down to our letter tiles page here, we can see that we have a number of tiles on screen, and if we want to just build a word, all we have to do is click and hold and drag down on a letter, on the letters that we want. So if we want a B and then an A, we can do that, and maybe an M as well. So one thing to note here is that there is a bit of an issue with this program because it's not exactly designed for letter tiles. It does have other features in. If you click and hold too long on a letter, it will go to a different style of dragging, which won't utilize the snap to grid feature. So in order to snap to grid, you really got to click and drag right away. Once you've clicked and dragged, it will stay that way then, but if you click and hold too long, it will go to a different style of drag, which doesn't necessarily observe the rules of the snap to grid feature. So you can turn snap to grid on and off up here if you've got my toolbar installed. If you turn it off, letter tiles will just be freeform. There'll be no snapping to grid. But if you turn it on, letter tiles will then snap to the grid and be uniform in a line. So that's how you can build words, just simply by clicking and dragging them down. You can divide words by selecting multiple letters at a time. You can do this by clicking outside of the letters you want to select. Say we want to select the last 3 letters of the word that we've just built down here. We can go above it, put our selection thing around the 3 that we want to select, so it's got to fully surround all 3 that we want to select, and then we can release, and that's going to select them. If we want to move them, we just got to go anywhere within these 3, and we can click and drag and move them to where we want them. So we can divide words quite easy by selecting multiple ones and just dragging, like so, to divide up our words. So we can delete letters simply by clicking on them and then pressing delete on our keyboard. That will delete them permanently. The other option is to utilize the bin function, the bin template part of my template that I've set up, and you can do this simply by selecting the letters you want and dragging them down to the gray area down here with the bin and releasing your tiles. And that the tiles will still be there, but they just disappeared underneath. When you create new tiles or duplicate tiles, the tiles will automatically be higher than the bin, and you'll notice that they'll appear on top of the bin. To solve this, you can right click on the bin, go to Arrange, and in the sub menu click Bring to Front. Bring to front, the first one up the top here. Bring to front. If you select that, that will bring the bin up to the front and all the other tiles will go behind it. So I found this, if you're going to allow your students to manipulate the tiles themselves through Zoom, then this is a great way for them to delete the tiles. because they can just drag the tiles down underneath the bin and have them disappear. So let's have a look at all our letter tiles that we have available. So I've broken this up to have my constants along one line, our vowels on a separate line, and I've done this for two reasons. One, if I did the entire alphabet just out by itself, the document would have gotten too long and it would take up too much of the view space, and our letter tiles would get really, really small. So I've broken it up like this so it can fit the tiles better on screen for viewing. Along the top we have our digraphs and trigraphs along the top here, and we've got some blank tiles over the side here, and we've got some grammar tiles down next to our vowels here, our comma, our schwa, and our hyphen. If we go to the right, so we can scroll to the right of our page off our page to find more tiles by either using the scroll bar at the bottom, or if you hold Shift and then use your scroll wheel, mouse wheel on your mouse, it will scroll you horizontally instead of up and down. So if we scroll to the left here, we can see that we have all of our units over here. If you're doing this in a more pure Orton Gillingham way, I've also included N, G, and K letter tiles down the bottom here for your diphthongs there. You have your vowel teams over here, as well as your vowel R's underneath. Over to the other side, you have your suffixes, and then next to those we have our prefixes. If we go back to center, so if you've installed my toolbar, you can come back to the center of the page by selecting the entire page icon here. That'll center you in the page. If we scroll up, I've included a whole bunch of capital letters as well as capital digraphs for names and things. So that's there as well. You can also duplicate more tiles if you need them. So to duplicate a tile or tiles, you just got to select them. And then if you got the toolbar, you can go up to the top and click duplicate. If you don't have the toolbar, you can also use Shift F3 on your keyboard. The two things to note here is the X and Y axes placement values. If you have them set to 0 centimeters, that'll place the tiles directly underneath each other. So that's really good if you're trying to create a pile of letters to pull off of. Up in the copies, you can select how many copies you want to create. I'm going to select 5 for this example. So I've selected this M here, and I'm going to create 5 copies of it. So I'm going to click OK, and that's going to create 5 copies of that M. So I can now have more M's coming out of this pile of M's, essentially. So that's how you can duplicate more tiles if you need them, or how you can also set up having more tiles in a particular template for a particular lesson plan. I think the last thing to talk about is maybe zooming in. If you need to zoom in or zoom out, you can, if you bring up the status bar from the toolbar, you'll get this bar down below. You can use the zoom tool down here. The other option is to hold down Control and use your mouse wheel. If you hold down Control, that'll zoom in and out of the page. If you want to make it bigger or smaller, you also got your browse options here at the top. So let's go ahead and have a look at some of our other templates as well now. So let's go ahead and have a look at our plain tiles. So I also have a template for plain tiles. So this is good for phonological work or phonemic awareness work. Students can bring down just blank tiles to represent the sounds in letters. And you got that template there if you'd like to use that. I've also included a template for the alphabet, for alphabet work. So you'll notice how this is set out in a couple of different ways. So I got lowercase pieces. So what this is saying is that I put the alphabet into three sections of three, A, B, C, D, E, F. And that's how I teach the kids to go through their alphabet. A, B, C, D, E, F, etc., etc. So you could use this as a scramble game that they have to unscramble. So you could jumble these up into a different order, and then they've got to pick out the letters to put back in the correct order. So you could have, say, go A, B, C, D, E, F, etc., etc., rebuilding, having them rebuild the alphabet as they say it. So I've included this in case you have some use for it. I've also included lowercase singles, so this is singular letter alphabets work. If you have other activities you'd like to use for single alphabet, I've also included the uppercase pieces, and uppercase singles into this template. So they're available for you if you'd like those as well. So that's the main features of my templates and how to use them. And I may at a later date make further videos about this.